Good morning, students. Welcome to video lecture series. This is Raja, Assistant Professor, Sri Sairam College of Engineering. This time I am going to handle the subject Renewable Energy Resources for the third year 6 semester students. It's an open elective subject. The subject code is 18EE 653. Module 1, Introduction to Renewable Energy Resources. Before going to discuss about this, first we want to know what is energy. Energy is a main factor for all living things and non-living things. Any physical activity in this world, whether it is done by human being or by nature, is caused due to the flow of energy in one form to other form. Any physical activity or any kind of work, the capacity to do the work is called as energy. Energy is the key factor for the any country economic growth. So developed countries concentrated on more in energy resources. How much energy resources are available in the country decides the economic growth or the developed countries. So energy is the capacity of the physical system to perform a task or a work. Energy exists in several forms, such as we can say that heat energy, light energy, mechanical energy, gravitational energy, electrical energy, sound energy, chemical energy, nuclear energy, atomic energy. According to the law of conservation of energy, the energy can be neither be created nor be destroyed, but the total energy of the system remains constant. However, the energy may transform from one form into another form. That means the conduction and convection is taking place. Conduction in the sense the energy is moving from one location to another location or one area to another area. That is nothing but transfer or transform. Transform in the sense the energy is changing from one form of energy into another form of energy. That is called as convection. So the unit of energy is, we know that it is joule, or we can represent as Newton meter. Energy is well recognized as an essential parameter for any techno-economic development of any system. It is presently used as the measure of standard of living, quality of life, civilization, culture of the society or country. In this, energy plays a very important role. Nowadays, we are using fossil fuels as an energy. Olden days, the primitive man depend on the manual work. Ancient man, his work output is very limited. His energy requirement is which is met through the quality of food he is taking intake, and this work output also very limited. The life was simple that time, and demands are also very less. That time the environment is very clean because very few energy resources only used, that is nature energy resources only utilized. Later on, The primitive man used animal power to supplement some manual energy to enhance his work output. So gradually he learned harnessing the energy from wind and falling water to further enhance the work output. After introduction of the machine, that is industrial revolution, the steam engine was introduced. After the introduction of the steam engine, the industrial revolution brought into the different growth. Though the increase in energy consumption, the rate of consumption is increased over the period of years of few generations. 19th century, the Tesla invented the commercial induction motor. There, the introduction of electrical machines, along with the commercial availability of the electrical power, started. That is, the 19th century is nothing but new electrical age. All this led to increase the energy requirements by bounds. So, energy consumption dictates the social inequalities, disparities between one country to other country. Nowadays, the fossil fuels are used in all over the world. Fossil fuels in the sense such as coal, natural gas, and oil, and nuclear fuels also used as a resources. But fossil fuels are fast depleting rate. That means that is exhaustible. Once it is over, we cannot replace. Exhaustible. It cannot be replaced. And it creates more pollution to the earth, environment. And sometimes scarcity has been created due to the some oil crisis in 1970s and 1990s and all. So the world is turned to move into the renewable energy sources. Started slowly to the renewable energy sources where the natural resources are utilized for the generation of energy. Normally, any energy which consists of two types, one is kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy is nothing but the energy in moving objects. For example, mechanical energy for the motors and electrical energy for the appliances. Potential energy is in the form of energy that is stored in the potential can be put into the future purpose. Nuclear energy, we can store it. Chemical energy. Why we are going into the non-conventional energy in the sense due to the pollution and due to the usage of fossil fuels which causes more effects in the environment, ecological effects, due to the release of more carbon dioxide which creates global warming. Since every energy conversion process, during the process, some of the energy will be released into the atmosphere. Either it may be released in the form of heat or it may be some form of gas. Some pollutants in the form of gases also produced during the conversion process. So both heat and gases cause the degradation of the environment. That means which will affect the ozone layer, which leads to the global warming and climatic changes, and which will affect the nature, and which will affect the human being. Some of the emitted gases, such as we have a carbon dioxide. Excess emission of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere causes the global warming. Carbon monoxide. This will affect the human tissues. Sulfur oxide, which will cause the respiratory disease, and acid rains, corrosion in the metal, building stones, corrosion will be happen. Nitrogen oxide, production of more nitrogen oxide, which will causes some respiratory diseases, cardiovascular diseases, body tissue diseases, cancer, lungs infusion, disinfections. Some of the pollutions may be happening in that is indoor pollution and outdoor pollution. Indoor pollution in the sense that is some rural areas, nearly 5 lakhs of children and women were die every year from the disease caused by the indoor air pollutions. It should be avoided. Outdoor pollutions due to the fossil fuels like coal, oil in industry and transportations. So what is the remedial for this one? In the sense we have to use lesser fossil fuel, or otherwise we have to go for the alternate fuels which is not polluting the nature. So for that only we are moving into the renewable energy resources. Renewable energy resources. In that, what is renewable energy resources? The renewable energy resources is a source can access infinitely. For example, sun, solar, solar energy. Sun will give the solar energy. Water, biomass due to the trees and solid waste of your agriculture's lands. Wind. These are all the resources access infinitely, which constantly replenish itself without any human involvement. That means replenishing in the sense it is replaceable, which has substitute, which is replaceable. It is not at all emptied. It is continuously available, regenerated. There will be always wind is blowing, sun is shining, and water is flowing. Those are called as renewable energy resources. Non-renewable energy resources, it is available only in fixed amount. If it is over, that energy is over, resources is over, then no energy can be generated. Since the non-renewable energy resources, in the sense we are using fossil fuel, coal, these are all, it is available in the earth. It has been created 1400 years. If you want to recreate it, it takes near long years. So these resources did originate from organic matters. They take hundreds of thousands of years to create and require the high pressurized environment to become oil or coal or gas. Once it is burned, they cannot be reused. Types of renewable energy. What are the types of renewable energy? In the sense we have wind energy. The energy is obtained from the wind. Solar energy. The energy is obtained from the sun. There are two types of solar energies. One is the energy which is obtained from the photovoltaic cell is nothing but the electric, and solar thermal, that heat energy. Hydroelectric energy which is obtained from the water, flowing of water. Biomass and biogas is extracted from the organic material. Geothermal energy from the heat energy inside the earth crust. Tidal energy is obtained from the tides. Wave energy is obtained from the ocean waves. Bioethanol, it is suitable for the vehicles. Biodiesel, also used for the vehicles. These are the types of the renewable energy. And examples of the renewable energies are wind, solar, hydropower, tidal, geothermal, biomass, hydrogen. And non-renewable resources are coal, oil, natural, and nuclear energies. What are the difference between the renewable energy and non-renewable energy is nothing but the sources of energy that can be recycled throughout the biological chemical process and sustainable practice is known as renewable energy. So renewable energy uses the sustainable practice and action that reduces the environmental pollution and protects the earth from the biodiversity. But non renewable in the sense the source of energy that cannot be replenished, that cannot be regenerated once it is used. Most of the times, the non renewable energy releases the some of the pollutants and carbon dioxide when it is burned. It is not eco friendly, it affects the ecological system, environment, which causes the climatic changes, more pollution to the environment, noise to the environment, which will affect the living things and non-living things. But what is the similarities between the renewable and non-renewable in the sense both are usable energy resources found in the nature. Coal, oil, it is available in the earth. Wind, solar, water, everything is available in the environment. Both the types of energy have specific cost. Benefits is preferable than the others. Advantages and disadvantages of the renewable resources are they do not release harmful carbon emissions. They can drastically improve our air quality, respiratory health system, conserve non-renewable resources, and renewable energy supports job growth globally. These are all the advantages of the renewable resources. Disadvantages, the renewables are newer, are less established, and typically more expensive. Assumption made here, if you want to install one solar plant in the sense, it occupies more space. And one solar cell, so assume that in photovoltaic cell, which may generate zero point 0.5 volt to 1 volt in the sense, then in order to generate 12 volts for the power supply for mobile phone, then it requires more number of cells, nearly 24 cells or 12 cells are required. Then the cost of the photovoltaic cell is more. Wind, the blade system, the windmill installation is, the cost is very expensive and it occupies more space. It is not transferable. Wherever that we are keeping there only we have to generate. Increased demand for energy, no substitute if anything happens. People are reluctant to try the new things. Thank you.